Morning. I am Dr. Rishi Sharma. Today we are discussing about topic of international business related to our MBA first semester, that is overview and modes of entry. So we have to understand what international business is, and in this particular topic, we learn few important aspects of international business, along with how we can enter into the international business arenas. So, firstly, we have to define what international business is. In a simple term, international business can be defined as any business that crosses the national boundaries. A business which crosses the national boundaries of one country and moves to another country is called the international business. As soon as your business crosses the boundary of your nation, your business will become the international business. It includes all kinds of commercial transactions, private and government, between two and more than two countries. So this is a very simple term. We can define the international business. Now coming further, for why companies go for international business? What is the need of going for international business? So some common answers are, we go for international business because we want to expand ourselves. So this is a very uh, important and common answer. Sales depends upon two factors: companies and consumer interest and consumers' willingness and ability to pay. Higher sales leads to higher profits. So if you want to increase your profit and the sales is limited, or sales growth is slow down in your own country, so you go for international business. Even if it is not slow down, but you want to increase the growth of your sales, so you want to expand your sales, so you go for international business. You can see various examples like IBM, like Nestle, like Seagram. These all are companies doing selling products internationally. We are using many of the products of Nestle, IBM in our country. International business is also done to acquire the resources like manufacturing, distribution networks, technologies. Acquiring the resources in a home country, with the help of this, we can reduce our cost, we can fight the competition. When we enter into international business, we acquire resources at local level and we become competent with the local companies. So this is another basic reasons why companies go for international business. Another is to minimize the risk. Risk is also minimized by taking the examples of the business cycle. We can see what a business cycle is. So you can see that there is introduction, growth, maturity, decline, and again introductions. So for example, in one country or in the host country or the country where your company is, the sales is lower. So you try to search those countries where there is a growth pattern in the sales of a product. So you enter into that country and you start selling your product into that country. So this is called the business cycle, and with the help of this uh, taking advantage of this business cycle, we can minimize the risk of the business. This is done in the local level also, and this is done at the international level also. Another reasons of recent growth of international businesses: expansion of technology. As technology is expanding, companies are acquiring new and new technologies. So this is one of the reason. Liberalizations, all companies are taking advantage of this policy of the government. Most of the countries today are liberalizing their business, their rules and regulations, and there are many other development institutions which are supporting, like World Trade Organizations, which is helping the companies to grow at international business. Another reason is increased global competitions, and now companies are coming up, foreign companies are coming up in the domestic market and providing products and services, and at lower rates. So competition is increasing at global level, so consumer is having more quality products at lesser cost. So these are some of the reasons why companies have gone for international business, why companies go for international business. So by understanding this particular topic, we have come to know that what international business is, why companies go for international business, and what are the basic reasons why you have chosen the international business. Now we come to the next part of our presentation, that is the modes of international business. There are various methods. One is indirect methods and another is direct methods. In indirect method, the funds of the companies are not directly involved in the foreign market. One of the easiest method is export and import. In this method, companies enter into an international arena by exporting the product from the host country, from the home country to the host country, and the products are exported there. In this, no direct investment from the company of the home country into the host country. As no direct investment is there, so risk is minimum. Similarly, the return is also lesser as compared to the other forms of the international business. So we can see some of the advantages. The risk is lowest, very flexible business, as anytime you can stop or increase, and good for local economy because products are manufactured in the local country, so employment is generated at local level. These are some advantage. But for exports, you need good foreign contact. Profits may be lower, and you will also lose the control of the products as your sales will depend upon the efforts at or the efforts of the company to whom you are exporting the things. So you are depending upon the orders from that particular country. But another method is licensing. You give license of your products and services to another country. In this also you will get a particular license fees only. There is less control as we have seen in the previous slides, and also there is also less profits as we have seen in the previous slides. Similar to the exports, there are certain advantage and disadvantage of this indirect method also. This is good for small firms because the profit is less but risk is also minimum. If you are having certain patent or you're having certain trademarks, so you can give license to another person at a different country, and with the help of that you can earn money. But this is having certain advantage and disadvantage. Some advantages: offers financial gains for seller. Selling an idea, as you sell an idea, you have to put little efforts, but some disadvantages are your ideas may be stolen and you will make less money. So for doing that, so come out of this, you have to adopt certain different methods, and these methods are direct methods of international business. So some of the direct methods are wholly owned for foreign subsidiary. In this method, what you do, you set up an wholly owned foreign manufacturing unit in the foreign country. By this, you can take the advantage of low cost of labor. You can avoid higher import tax. You can reduce high cost of transportation. You can gain access to the local raw material. You can gain access to the neighboring markets, and you can have the full control over the operations and management of the subsidiary, unlike the export and licensing. So you're having the flexibility of market expansions. So they all, and definitely you will have the protection of the company's brand name. So definitely this method is having the advantage over the other method, and this is very popular method. Most of the companies go for this wholly owned foreign subsidiary. Initially they may start with exporting and licensing, but in future they will definitely go for the wholly owned foreign subsidiaries because of the uh, long list of advantages shown in this particular slide. But there are certain disadvantages like political risk, social and cultural risk, host countries' opposition towards the divestment, and difficulties in foreign market and expansions. These are some of the limitations like political risk. There may be certain bad relationship between the governments of the two countries. Relations are not good, so one country government may put a ban on the products of the another government, as you can see present. So political risk is there. There are social and cultural risk. The citizens of that country may dislike your products, opposition, and difficulties of expansion. So these are some disadvantages, but over and above, this is a very popular method of entry into international business. Another method is joint venture. If you cannot open a wholly owned foreign subsidiary, maybe because of your limitations, uh, as we can see, we have seen in the previous slide, like political risk, host country oppositions, maybe you're not having the particular kind of finance available, so you can take the advantage of this method, joint venture, which is another very popular method. In this, two or more companies take a partnership in the ownership management of the third enterprises, and this is designed to benefit the both. Joint venture is a legal entity formed between two or more parties to undertake economic activities together. The parties agree to create a new entity by both contributing equity and share in the revenues, expenses, and control of the enterprises. The venture can be for one specific project, एक छोटे project के लिए हो सकता है, or it may be for the big projects. As we have seen the joint ventures of Hero Honda earlier, now it is split. Now Hero is different, Honda is different. So companies share their equity, companies share their revenues, companies share their expenses. We can see a long list of joint ventures in the insurance centers, like insurance companies like Bajaj Allianz, ICICI Prudentials. A lot many companies are there. This joint venture may be because of the government regulations also, as government may not be permitting to enter into the foreign market without uh, taking the joint ventures. There are certain advantages and disadvantages, like it spreads the cost and risk, it improves access to the financial resources, it increases the economies of scale as you take the advantage of the local company, and your size will increase, access to the new technology and customers, access to the innovative managerial practices, because two companies meet together. It reduces political, economic, and other risks because you take part in the other country with the help of the local local companies, and maybe because of the government regulations, and it increase or it helps in creation of the strong competitive unit in the local market. It gives speed to the market, and finally it gives the synergies. When two companies meet, they create the synergies. So these are certain advantages. That is why this is the most preferred method of entry into the international business after the or along with the wholly owned foreign subsidiary. There are certain disadvantages like loss of absolute control, loss of freedom of operational flexibility as two companies meet. But this is preferred and very popular method. Another method is fed out agreement. This is a method related as similar to the joint ventures. The only difference is uh, in the joint ventures, you have the agreement for a limited period of time. Similarly, in the fed out agreements, the MNCs liquidate the assets in the host country in the interest of the local partner, and this agreement is conducted, or this agreement is formed initially at the time when two companies meet, and afterwards, when this period is over, the MNCs liquidate the asset in the interest of local partner or in the interest of the government of the host country. So with this all discussions, I hope uh, we have thrown the light on the important topics of the international business. That is what the international business is and what are the various modes of international business. So thank you.